Good afternoon or morning, everyone. This is Nate G. It is May 21st, and there has been some discussion about how to get into something in the morning as it's moving up. And, are you chasing? How do you identify which ones are going to continue to move up and so forth? So, as you can see here, we have Netflix on my chart, and if we're looking at this on, like, let's say a 30-minute chart, Netflix had a great setup leading into today. Right, here's the today sort of cutoff line leading into today. And if you were in Netflix, let's say you picked it up yesterday, then you were holding overnight and you get this nice big push. Well, one of the things that happened today is Nate Bear came on the mic in the morning and said, we had a little bit of a gap down in the market, and Nate said, well, I'm gonna pick up some Netflix because I'm expecting it to push over this 1200 level if it wants to go today. Now, when he did that, he didn't necessarily know it was gonna go today. However, if you back it up just a little bit to before the market opened, right? We're looking at this great. This is at close. Let's make sure we have this just right. 55. I'm on a 5-minute chart, so I could give it one more bar, right? No. That's the open. We got to back it up one more. Right? So into the close, Netflix was pushing up yesterday, okay? And it's in this great pattern. We're getting a little bit of a gap down this morning. So in the pre and post market, we can see that Netflix is maybe going to open somewhere around 1187. So it's gotten a bit of a gap down, but the pattern is still really well intact, and it looks like it might go. So as the market opens and the options price, Nate was getting into that and caught the move to at least this break of 190 1197 area, right? So he took profits off into that. I think he hit that for 100% if I'm not mistaken. But within that within that 5-minute time frame, right? It's hard to get in if you didn't have your options pulled up and ready to go on Netflix and you were trying to chase. By the time you got your order set filled, it had moved up all the way up into this green line, this previous high, right? So the question was, how can we get into those? How do we chase those in the morning? And so the answer, number one, is we need is preparation, right? I'm going to try and prepare. Prepare, right? That's one, preparation to know what you want to play and buy it on these dips, right? The other way is to wait. This is so hard for a pullback. Right? Or a retest. Right? Which is what I did. All right? I didn't have mine pulled up. I wasn't ready. And as we broke this previous high area, I'm going to draw a little box because it's not always an exact space. We pushed up and we were retracing, and the market was gapping down. I knew that Netflix was strong today, right? Because it had already pushed a new high. So as it came into this box area at, let's say, this time of day, right here, whoops, I was looking for a buy, right? And so on a 1 minute, you can watch for maybe kind of a sniper type entry, or I was just buying in this zone, right? Because what happens when we push up above this green line here, right, was all-time highs, previous all-time highs, right? So once we had pushed up above, you generally get a quick retest and then you get a larger retest. So you get a 3 minute type of retest and then a 5 or 10 minute retest. And so we got this little retest here of that breakout level, and then it pushed again, and then we get a second retest, and that's where I was buying. Now I didn't buy the exact bottom. I took a little bit of heat before this thing moved up again. And as it plays out, you'll see that happening. Okay, so take a little bit of heat here, but not much. Then it moves up, comes back down, moves up, right? And so the entry, and I took mine off, into here for nice profits. I didn't catch this continuation move. I felt like we were going to have a day where we had a pretty big continuation move, but I just didn't want it to roll over on me either. A lot of the indices were looking like they were getting ready to roll over, right? So you chasing and you're expecting them to go. And then the other way you can do it is through retests of key levels, right, on pullbacks. It has to remain strong, and you have to really manage your risk there. But that's how I got into it late and still captured a piece of the move. And Nate had it ready, expecting that Netflix was going to be strong today, and he bought it at the open because he had pre-planned, prepared, and was ready to go. So are you asking Nate always plays out of the money options? Yeah, an out of the money option, short dated, you'll get a better price, right? So you can buy more contracts for a lesser price. The thing you have to kind of worry about is what kind of theta decay do I have, right? So like if I'm looking at a chart in, let's go to like SE, right? If I like SE on this 30-minute chart, right? It's probably in a squeeze on a 65. Yeah, okay, let's say I like this 65. Do I have a 78? Yeah, no. A plus squeeze, 78-minute chart, right? And let's just say, hypothetically speaking, it's coming up here into, a resistance level. So I would not want to be picking this up right now. But let's say hypothetically this was a little lower and we wanted to play it in this A plus setup, right? And I want to find an option on it that I want to play. So I go over to SE, and if I'm thinking, okay, out of the money, and I want to pick up a bunch of contracts, well, you could say, okay, well, that's great. I'm going to play these 170s here get them for about 30 cents or so, 35 cents. I could pick up, 40 of these. Well, that's not really the right move, because you've got two days and change left for the expiration on these, right? And you're out of the money, so your theta is just going to chew you up really, really fast, and that doesn't work, right? However, if you were convinced that SE was going to move right now, like within the next 30 minutes, and it was going to bounce and go like Netflix was today, then you can play an out of the money option on something like Netflix right? And you're expecting it to move right away today, or you're going to cut it, right? And so I can't remember what he was playing. I believe I was playing the 1220s at the time, but I did the same thing, right? So on a short dated, really expensive stock, right, you can play these out of the money ones that have maybe a 35 delta or a 30 delta, and still get a good chunk of that move because it's $1,000 stock with a high ATR. Whereas something like SE, right? For SE to move $1, it's got to go quite a ways because it's only $165 stock, right? And if these 170s move $1, your option contract is going to change by 15 cents, right? So you're just not getting the difference here on Netflix is your option contract, at the 1220s is going to move 34 cents for every dollar, and then increasingly move up if you're going in the right direction, right? But then you're looking at, Netflix, and the move on Netflix here just today, has gone from 188 to 206. So, it's almost gone, $20. I mean, at the top here, it has traveled $20 from the low, right? So you can imagine how exponentially quick that moves on something like a Netflix versus something smaller like an SE, or even smaller like a Riley. Ooh, little rollover there. Does that kind of help answer that question? So when you're looking at something like SE, it's two different types of trades. So if we're playing SE on the 78 minute, right? You probably would want to be, I would want to be 2 to 3 weeks out. And generally I'm buying at the money, or or slightly in the money. I'm usually not going too far out of the money, especially on like a $164 stock. I don't need to, because I want to give this time to work. So I'm going to go further out and do that. But if I'm playing like a Costco or a Netflix, right? They're $1,000 stock. I can buy out of the money options for less money, and I'm expecting them to move today or tomorrow, right? And then the closer I get to Friday, obviously if it's Friday, I'm expecting them to move that day. So does that kind of help explain the difference between in the money, at the money type of choices? They're different types of trades. So Amy asks, would you explain what you'd done if you were prepared to buy when the market opens? Yeah, I would have my option contracts up, and it's easy. This is a lot easier for me, right? So let's go Netflix. Let's grab the 1225s. Let's put those here, right? This is a lot easier for me because I have active trader, right? So let's say I was going to buy, 10 contracts. Let me just move it to one just in case I accidentally click it. Right? This is the bid, this is the ask, and so it's going to fill somewhere in the middle here. And so if I put an order in to buy and it doesn't fill, I can just grab it and slide it up a little bit until it fills. And then if it just goes and I'm too late, then I don't try to chase it, right? But sometimes you can get a fill on a SPY or an SPX. You can even mark it in generally because the spread is so tight. So basically, if you're using a program, a broker where you have to sit there and type in, I'd like to get this at 550, hit enter, hit confirm, and then wait to see if it fills, and then change your order and try 580, yes, confirm, and then wait to see if that fills. You're not going to be able to chase these, right? So if, let's say, Netflix was moving pretty fast and I wanted to get in, I'd probably come up here towards where the ask is and I try to get it at 560, 570. And then if it's still moving and kind of fluctuating, I might grab that if it's not filling and move it to 590. But I'm not going to chase it up into the sixes because it's going to have moved away from me. And that early in the morning on something like a Netflix or something else, I don't recommend trying to market into something that's not a tight spread because you're most likely going to get a pretty terrible fill. I mean, if you really just have to get in, you can market in, but you also don't know if you're marketing in at the top and you get an awful fill and then it gets a little bit of a pullback. So that's Thinkorswim, Jupiter. Yeah, so it's easier to get into a name quickly with an option when you have something like an active trader or whatever the active trader is called on TradeStation. I can't remember what that's called. And so, when we talk about it, Netflix is kind of a unique case because it gapped down a little bit, and then, in a 1 minute candle, it moved almost $5, right? And then was off to the races. So Netflix is tough, but if you, I'm trying to think of a good example. What you want to do, in my opinion, as a newer trader is find setups that you like. Like let's go back to SE and see if it did it this morning. Not really. Okay, here's a good example. So let's say we like SE on this day. Okay. So we've seen SE on a 30-minute chart, right? It's in a squeeze. Let me get rid of these so it's a little less stuff to look at. Okay, let's say we've identified SE on this day. This is the middle of the 19th. So what would that be? Would that be 19th, 20, 21? That was Monday, right? So this is Monday. And we're like, okay, I like SE, but here's my support level, this yellow line, okay? My resistance level, my high is at 165, and then I have my two targets. And in fact, let's back it up just a little bit more so that this is a more realistic type of play. So let's say we're here. Nope, I need one more bar. Two more bars? There we go. Okay. So let's say we like SE right here and we want to try and, we want to get in this, but it's kind of moving up today or in this candle, right? I hope you're with me at the moment. It's kind of moving up here. And so we don't want to buy it just yet, right? We'd like to buy it. Our ideal buy is down here, right? At support. So that our risk reward, when we try and play this up into, no, that's here, right? Long position. Say we want to take a long position, but if we buy it now and we're only going to take it up into, the new high, it's barely a 1-to-1 risk reward. And that's not good enough. We want 1 to 2 or better, right? So what we do is we put this on our watch list, right? We put an alert in down near this 160, 150 area. We want to know if it's going to come back down in here, okay? So, wait a minute, trying to set an alert. I don't know why it won't give me the option to set. Oh, probably because I'm on replay. But you set an alert and you keep your eye out. If you look right where I'm going to put this red line, here's our point of control. So ideally, we'd like it off of point of control, right, or our support level to make sure that we have a good risk reward. And we're willing to wait, right? We're willing to wait. So this thing plays out throughout the course of the day. Maybe during that Monday hours, we pick it up off a point of control there, right? And it starts to go. But look what just happened. So Tuesday morning opens up. We gap up a little bit, but when we look at this on a 1-minute chart, right, within the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, we've found the perfect entry right here. So we've been watching SE, right? This is in theory, right? We've been watching SE. We have it on one of our charts that's opened. We even have a alert set if it's going to break this 160, 150 area, which it does. So our alert goes off, and then we open up SE and we say, "Oh, look, I like SE. It's down into my support level where my risk reward is at its best. I'm going to now open up my SE options and place an order for SE in this area here with a stop below that." And that's how you can get into something in the morning that's pulling back that you like. And then you get this move higher, and then as this plays out, it takes a day or two, but we work our way back up. Let's let it keep playing out, like on a 5-minute chart, right, into what we have today. And I even think we get another buying opportunity. There's another buying opportunity, right? And now we're up to where we are now, which is up into this resistance level, which is where I would be taking some profits. And so if you look, a buy from, where is it? A buy from here and a sell up there is $4. That's $4 of move in an option. You leave a trailer in case it wants to keep going, right? And then a trailer, that comes down, maybe you can add again and play it again within this range. But that's how you get those morning entries. Netflix is different because Netflix just went, right? Netflix just opened up, down a little bit, and took off. And so that's different, right, than this one, which took 2 or 3 minutes to give you the pullback, which was the perfect time to buy. But then also you had another opportunity here because you knew where your point of control was. And that's also a good risk reward to target. Does that help at all? And that just takes, searching for the names you want to get into before, like during the day when things get slow, or in the after hours, or in the morning hours. And then when the market opens, you're ready. And sometimes you get a pullback to the right spot. Sometimes you don't. We don't normally like to chase. I think Netflix was just a little bit more of a unique situation. It didn't give a pullback, but it was a good buy and push situation, given the fact that it was in such a great, the chart was in such a great shape, and it was giving us an immediate open sort of pullback into what was point of control. John, how do you decide what to get in with, into to begin with? We scour the market and look for great setups, and then we want setups that are in a TPS. I don't know if you're new to the room or not, but a TPS setup is a trend pattern squeeze. That's Nate's bread and butter type setup, and we either find it during the day when it's in a good risk reward position, or we wait until we get the pullback we're looking for. Usually that happens in the morning, but not always. Yeah, it's all about prep work. What is very hard to do and takes new traders a long time to figure out, and some never do, is that you can't just come in the morning uh, at 8:15, open up your trading platform, and wait to see what's happening and make trades and be successful. I mean, there are some people that can, but what's happening is during the day or after the market closes or before the market opens, whatever, they're looking for setups. They're scanning, they're screening, they're reading about market conditions, they're looking at the indices and the futures, seeing how those are responding to different news events and other things. They have levels on their charts already drawn, so that when something comes into a level, they don't have to go, okay, what's my risk reward? Where's my support and resistance areas? Because by the time you do all that live, like as it's happening, you may have missed the dip. You may have missed the opportunity uh, to buy, and or a lot of people just get frozen by trying to analyze it. Is this right? This second guessing, and so the most successful traders have a plan already, and plans are all different. Some traders are scalpers, so the plan is I look at what has volume in the morning, and what volume's coming in pre-market, or something that's moved a lot in the overnight hours. So I know it's got eyeballs on it. I know it's got attention. So I'm looking for breakout levels. That's a little bit more of immediate analysis. But there's always a plan in place on how to play that kind of a thing. You want to know about how to manage trades, Dennis? So you find yourself in the red while Nate is taking profits on the exact same option and the exact same strike. I have a couple of videos on how to manage trades, and really the the one key takeaway is discipline. Having a plan, go into a trade with a plan, even if it's a trade that Nate Bear or myself or D-Man has recommended, or that we're in. Have your own plan and follow those rules. And if you find out you're getting stopped out too often, or you're not taking profit at the right time, don't change your rules mid trade. Refine what your rules should be and then try them on the next trade. I find that times I get into the most trouble is when I change my rules after I'm already in the trade. Like, for instance, I'm already in something in, let's say, Netflix, and my stop level was, this 1180 level, and it does this, right? It comes down into here. I'm like, okay, well, my stop was at 1180, but I don't want to stop out because stopping out means I'm a failure, which it doesn't. I'm just saying that's how your brain works. So now I'm going to say, okay, my stop out is at 1172 because that's another, that's another level that's possible. And it comes down here and it kind of starts to bounce, and you're like, okay, yeah, I got it. This is going to be great. This thing's going to rip. And then, of course, it's just a little baby bounce. It comes up and retests this previous level and then rolls more. And then it's like, shoot, now I'm really underwater. So, maybe this level, I don't know why there's a green level here, but that's probably going to act as support because I'm sure I drew it there for a reason. You just let that thing come down here, and then you just keep changing your rules as the trade, as the trade sort of develops, and then your previous risk reward of 1 to, let's say, 3 is now a 4 to 1 inverse risk reward, and that's why you're not a profitable trader, right? So the big thing is managing the discipline, right? I'm taking profits at levels I've preset in my trade plan, and I'm stopping out at levels I have preset in my trade plan. And if I find a problem with that over multiple trades, I'm going to adjust the way I'm planning my trades, not adjust the trade while in it. Yeah, thanks, Rich. That's where I was gonna. So if you go to the boot camp videos, um, there's a planning your trade video. Does that kind of answer everyone's questions on how to get into something in the morning, how to manage it, that kind of stuff? Since that has turned into the direction of today's lesson, today's TED Talk. Yeah, planning, preparation, and don't forget discipline. I'd even say discipline is the key. Planning and preparation are part of discipline. Okay, so that CLSK that we picked up on the dip is up nicely. Might be taking a little bit of profits here. Yeah, what, up 35% or so? What's the next level we're looking at? It's got a ways to go to that. Yeah, I might leave that on to see what it wants to do. SPY squeezing a little bit. Yep, it's going to break out of this sideways pattern. Probably a 5-minute squeeze. Yep. Let's look at it there. Yep. It's strong. I mean, we're getting to a gap close up here at 592.81. Okay, I'm gonna jump off here if there's no more questions. Oh wait, Damien. So if you're playing the 30-minute chart when you're waiting it, no, I've done a couple of videos on this. Like if I'm playing something, on the 30-minute chart, like let's say Netflix here, right? I'm playing the squeeze on the 30-minute chart, but so I'm going to set up my macro levels using the 30-minute chart. But then as I'm trading it, I'm going to jump in. I like a 1-minute chart, but I don't recommend that for, newer traders. I'm going to look at a 5-minute chart because it just gives me a little bit more detail. But like Nate will always say, if you're trading the 30-minute chart, don't then stare at a 1-minute chart, because a pullback like this, you'll see people do this in chat. On a 1-minute chart, looks like you'll see people type in Netflix tanking, and it's like, no, that's just a pullback, a retest to the breakout level, and that's a buy, because you're playing a 30-minute chart or a 65-minute chart, but you're staring at a 1-minute chart, and so a healthy pullback over like a VP level or a breakout level looks like it's tanking, and you panic, and you want to get out, when really it's just part of how the market moves, right? So if you look at this, Netflix, on a 30-minute, looks like it's gone straight up from this morning's buy, right? Except for just a little hiccup here. But on a 1-minute chart, you see that straight up is it takes the stairs, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up big, down, more up. The market always moves on smaller time frames like this. Up or down, right? But on a larger time frame, they just look like, big candles like that. Straight up. But the market never just goes straight up. And if you go out to an even larger time frame, you're going to see that step up and step down sort of move. Although the down seems to go a little bit faster. How does cost look to me? I love cost. I'm just going to tell you it looks awesome, but let's actually look at it. It's just kind of going sideways today, but it's $1,000 plus stock, and starting yesterday, or starting even before yesterday, right now it's trading in a range, right? And so if you felt so inclined, remember we just talked about kind of playing those out of the money options for this week on Netflix or Costco. I haven't been paying attention to Costco today, but you could be buying puts off this level, flipping them out for calls at these levels, right? And pretty much paying off your mortgage. just kidding, but you know what I mean? Like, you can see that it's trading in a range. And then, of course, it's going to come up to one of these range levels at some point and push through or break down, right? It's not going to sit in this range forever. But you can, I think I made 3 trades on it over the last 3 days, kind of in this range. Costco on the larger time frame, it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at this thing. We're coming up into earnings on the 30th, but this is high and tight. Look at that. It's gorgeous. Stunning. Even. But you see what I'm talking about in this range. So you got to be able to draw those things on your charts. You don't have to do it with 2 lines either. You can come in and just go bonk, right? And then like that. And it'll draw you a channel. As long as it wants to trade in that channel, great. Nate, are you ready to take the screen back for a little bit before JC's thing? I've been on for quite some time. So I don't know if I'm running into your time. You come on at 1 today? Yep, I am running into your time. Not quite yet. All right, y'all. I am going to flip this back over to Nate's screen. I don't know if he's actually going to come on. You know what? I think you could do it from the car while driving. I mean, that's what a pro trader would do. I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah, from your phone, stream from your phone. Make buys and sells. How awful does that sound? Yeah, you got to get the self-driving Elon Musk car. Oh, that's pretty funny. Okay, I'm gonna jump off, and I will see you all. CLSK still kind of on the move. I'll see you all tomorrow. I'll be in the JC presentation this afternoon, so don't miss that. And I'll talk to you later.